Alright, welcome back. In this video we're going to be talking about how to fix Magic the Gathering, and then at the end we'll have some Mage War updates. Not too much, just a couple things. But this was brought on by a comment on one of my videos. I had a little discussion with one of the posters, and the question kind of came up of how to fix Magic the Gathering. Given my system, and I mean, that was the whole point of why I made all the videos that I have so far about this. But I thought, I'll just do another video kind of addressing it in its own thing. Although, of course, if you want more information, watch the other videos. The Power Level for Noobs videos are, I think, probably the best intro. There's also a couple ones where I just actually analyzed cards. And then all of this comes from the open letter in the Mage War rulebook, which I did the videos for. Actually, they're not that good quality. It was an old camera, and it's just kind of starting out. But the information is still good. I think there was maybe one edit to them, which it's labeled in one of the videos that came after. But yeah, really just the main idea is fixing Magic with the system that I've provided that both breaks Magic, but also, if WotC were to use it, would fix Magic. And the whole point is balancing. And the commenter pointed this out, he got it, is that the way to fix Magic, what you're trying to fix, is to balance it. And this is one of Corey's early sentiments when we figured this out, or when I figured this out, and then we were talking about it and everything, and it was that it would be really good if every single card you got in a booster pack was playable, meaning everything's balanced, so whether it's a high-cost card or a low-cost card, that they're all properly balanced, and that everything's useful. You don't get any junk cards. And I think I've also mentioned this in another video, is that probably the best example of balanced Magic is Pauper. Pauper is what Magic would look like if it were properly balanced. And so yeah, I think that's probably a good benchmark to look at, but the main aspect of the question that the commenter kind of put there was, and I think this was on the first Power Level for Noobs video, but it was all of Magic. Like, how would you fix all of Magic? And the answer that I've given before in a previous video is kind of just, well, I mean, since they've already printed all the cards, the best way is really just to move forward with balanced cards and maybe make a separate format from then moving on, and have past Magic be its own thing, like a new, like Legacy would be a closed format. Legacy and Vintage would be closed formats, and then maybe, I don't know, they'd change Modern. Because I don't know if because yeah, that wouldn't apply. Maybe have to rename Modern, but yeah, that's kind of the difficult thing, is how do you change all of Magic? And I guess the quick answer is you can't fix all of Magic that's been printed, but you can fix Magic moving forward to make sure that everything is properly balanced, to make sure that they're not using Magic the way that they are, where the most expensive cards are the ones that they've imbalanced to be extremely powerful. They have a few cards in the set that are the most imbalanced. It's almost always correlated to rarity. You'll find most of the junk cards in your common slot, fewer less in the uncommons. Then of course, you've got your junk rares, and maybe even a few junk mythics. But in terms of balanced, almost all the rares that I've looked at so far even from the beginning of Magic onward to the current last printed set, which I think is Zendikar, or the Return to Zendikar. I forget what it's called, but I'm pretty sure it's Return to Zendikar. I'll find out as soon as I get done making this video, and I'll embarrass myself. But I kind of lost my train of thought there. But I think, oh yeah, the rarities. So yeah, from all of Magic currently printed, it looks like rarity denotes imbalance. You get less imbalance earlier on. There are some commons that have a power level of like 1, uncommons like 1 or 2, and then rares are when you get 3 and higher. That's not like a strict rule or anything. That's just kind of like a general observation. But the point is, Magic, to profit the way that it does this intentionally. And this isn't healthy for gameplay. It's how you get constantly ruined standard. It's how you get, weird modern formats. It's how, people break formats. And it's how I discovered a system to break all of Magic. But again, the beautiful thing about the system is it provides WotC with a template to balance all of Magic moving forward. From everything that they print from now on, they could make it balanced if they followed this system. That's kind of it. Not really sure there's much more to add, except of course to start, checking out the system, watch the videos. But and of course, if you have any questions, please ask them, and I'll try and answer them. If not in video, then just in a comment or something. But I imagine that anybody who works at WotC looking at my system would instantly figure everything they need to out. They wouldn't need to ask me a whole lot of questions, because they definitely know what's going on. They're doing this intentionally. They definitely have a very, very comprehensive view of what's been printed, not the least of which because, or not the least of all because Mark Rosewater's been there for so long. So he's a really valuable asset in that way, although, yeah, I'm sure he's got his fair amount of criticism, including from me. The "Is Magic a Game" video is kind of pointing this whole thing out too, because Magic is imbalanced, and that makes it not a game. That makes it breakable. That makes it more just kind of a gambling scam. It's pay to win. If Magic was balanced, it wouldn't be pay to win. I mean, you'd still get people seeing, certain cards be better for, certain decks. You'd get maybe less in the Yu-Gi-Oh sense, but kind of engines for certain deck strategies. And there may be cards that are either rare or mythic that are, a cornerstone of that engine that you need to have, or that there are specific cards that, follow that same kind of value paradigm, whatever that is. So I mean, yeah, there would still be price variance if they just printed like a 1/1 creature that costs 1. I mean, there's a ton of those. That's not going to be a very high value, but a properly balanced rare card that just does something new would be a lot more valuable. So it's not like you're going to lose the value monetarily of Magic by doing this, by fixing it. I mean, just look at Pauper. But what you get is a game. You get a proper game. You get a game where everything is fair and balanced, where it's not pay to win, where it really is the creativity of your strategy and how well you can play the game. And, being a game designer, being a player, although not for a very long time of Magic, but, a player of just games in general, that's the goal for me. That's why I made Mage War the way I did. That's why I'm continuing to make Mage War the way that I am, and you know, all my other games too. Although Mage War is like one of the, it is probably the best show of the pursuit of balance in game design from everything else that I've made, I think. Don't quote me on that. This is a quote though. But yeah, so I mean, I guess there was a few more things to say, but that's kind of it. Is the way to fix magic is to follow the system that I've discovered, that I've put out here on my channel, that I wrote and printed in the open letter from the Mage War rulebook at the end. And that's just kind of it. And if you have any questions, again, please put them down in the comments or email me, whatever. Watsy especially, man, if you have any questions, definitely please get in contact with me. I would love to have any part in fixing Magic and making it a better game, because despite all of its problems and all the weird financial stuff and, you know, anything else that happens, I mean, I grew up like Magic like the rest of, or like a lot of you players out there. So yeah, I love Magic, but I do see all the problems with it, and lo and behold, I found a fix. So, couple updates for Mage War. Although we haven't really picked up a whole lot of steam in development for second edition. Sorry, I don't know why I had to think about that. We have started, Corey and I have started development on second edition, and working on some very, very cool new things. I am just as excited about second edition as I was for first edition, and still am. If you haven't checked out Mage War, have fun. It's free. And yeah, so not sure when second edition will be released. First edition's been out for, I think, a little under a year now. But I don't really have any kind of timeline or any kind of, like, you know, schedule that I'm going to release new editions with. But whenever that gets finished, I will have it, and I'll decide when to release it. And also a few art updates. Well, just kind of the art update. I am, as I think I've mentioned before, yeah, I know I've made a couple of videos about this, having an artist illustrate a deck, and so that's still going on. I've been getting samples of the artwork as we've been moving forward, sending back, you know, or sending feedback and communicating and all that good stuff. So it's looking really good. I am very, very excited about this artwork. It just looks awesome. And so thank you, Mr. Eric. And yeah, I'll have that for you whenever it's done. But stay tuned for more. I know I don't really, you know, make a whole lot of videos, but if you have any suggestions or things that you'd like me to cover, please let me know. Or if you have any Mage War decks that you want me to check out, yeah, send me the deck list. Love to see that. And yeah, if I have any other thoughts, I guess I'll just make another video. Hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned.